Hey Cosmic Fam, welcome to your Cosmic channel where we discuss galactic knowledge and wisdom from within. I'm Kate and today we're going to talk more about channeling. So let's get right to it. Okay, cool, so we're going to talk more about channeling. I spoke about it in the last video. Basically, when I'm talking about channeling, it's really just this process of galactic healing. That's why I'm so passionate about it, and that's why I know that everyone can do it, and why I want to share more information about it and really just go through like my process with you, is because what channeling really is this beautiful process of integrating all of the parts of you. It's working with your ego, deconstructing your beliefs. It's just really finding that way and that state of being where you can connect more freely with the cosmos, and in so doing, with connecting with the cosmos, you're also accessing different parts of your multidimensional self, right? So that's why channeling is essentially galactic healing and healing the self, and why I love it so much and why I want to talk to you about it. So as always, I'm going to share my experience. This has been a huge journey for me, and I'll give you some examples along the way that I hope are really helpful. But yeah, let's just get straight into this. So really kind of just bit by bit, again, these are more essentials about channeling and ego deconstruction and really just connecting with God, source, yourself, right? Okay, so first things first, which is really important to remember, this is all about consciousness. Consciousness is key. It's all about consciousness, understanding what consciousness is, being an explorer of consciousness, just really getting familiar with consciousness, what it is, and just developing more of a relationship with other conscious aspects of yourself. And this comes down to an understanding of, flow, being in flow. That's a channeling state. Trance, of course. So when you want to understand about how we connect, understanding trance is really important, and this really comes down to the brain wave activity. Okay, so when we're in a waking state, we're in a brainwave of alpha. So the trance state is the theta state of consciousness. The theta state of consciousness is that state you're in when you're in very deep meditation, or when you're just about to fall asleep and just about to wake up. You know, those kind of lucid dreams, that's a theta state, typically when you're just waking up or you're about to fall asleep. Sleep paralysis can also come into this, and I'm going to talk about a crazy sleep paralysis experience that happened to me when I met a grey being. It was so cool, and I'm going to talk about that after. But this point here is basically saying, get familiar with trance, get familiar with your brain wave states, go into theta. Theta is the state where you are in a hypnagogic state, you are not in total waking consciousness. It's a very important state of being where you can have those acts, where you just it's a state where your galactic family, your, the spirit side, whatever you really resonate with. For me, it's my cosmic galactic family, that whoever it is who wants to contact me, being in that state of trance, being in that hypnagogic state is where they really connect with me, and they give me messages and information. And for me, what I then do with that is I translate that information. Remember, you are just a conduit. So I'll give you an example. Most of the time I'm in these crazy lucid dreams, and my family, my galactic family, my guides, whoever it is, will take me to these other planets. And I've been to the planet of the Three Spires. Maybe you've heard of that. It's in the Dolores Cannon material. It's a planet where lots of information is stored. I've been to planets from the Orion experience when we were having lots of intergalactic wars, and we were kind of living underground and hiding in kind of a resistance experience. I've been to all these amazing places, and these places have been through lucid dreaming and meditation, and it's really just woken me up to, so many different realms, and it's really fun. So yeah, consciousness is key, understanding trance and flow state, and understanding that those states are how we get these messages, and then it's all about you experiencing them and interpreting them as in, how you please. Second, a really important thing that I want to talk to you about, and I've drawn a little diagram here, hopefully you can see it, it's really cute. Essentially, it's understanding that we are fragmented from God, from source. Little fragments of God and source exist within us. That is, our true state of being, and we can connect with that. So the all-seeing God, we decided to have this experience, and we fragmented and we separated and separated and separated as much as we could, and then the final point, then the final version of that is me, you, the human self. We are the most separated little fragment of source, basically, just forgetting who we actually are, just thinking that we're separate when really we're not. So that's consciousness turning into me. And then what happens then is the psyche also fragmented, and we have the unconscious, the subconscious, and the conscious. These are so complex, and we could really, that's a whole other video, and I'm studying psychedelics, consciousness, and transpersonal psychology, so I can definitely talk way more in detail about that. But for this video, I'm just gonna not really talk about the unconscious and just the subconscious and the conscious specifically. So the subconscious then is this realm where all of our memories exist, all of our experiences, all of our emotions. It's just this idea, well, not so much an idea, very much a fact, that we have this subconscious, and the subconscious is, you know, whatever you want to call it, the Akashic records, cosmic information, this place that we can access that has all of this information. And the subconscious then exists everywhere, all around us, and it is kind of what connects us in this way, right? And then the conscious is just this one focus point of attention. So you can kind of think about that as also like the anchor, the ego anchor. So your ego kind of anchors you into this one point of attention. And that's why the ego is really, really important for us to have this experience of separation, where we do forget that we're all one, because that was the directive of consciousness, who wanted to have an experience of separation. So we are doing that, but we are also, as humans, going through this incredible great awakening where we are remembering. And I'm going to do a whole other video about that and about how it relates with all of the alien agendas and stuff like that. So stay tuned for that, like and subscribe. So basically, this is about fragmenting from God and becoming this separated self, and then also the idea that the psyche also fragments, and we, you know, when we experience trauma and all of these things, and we have these things that happen to us where that thing fragments, and then it's kind of held in the space, and it's this kind of trauma that we kind of go to, and then we like push that down and we hide that down, and then that can happen individually and collectively. So there's so much collective trauma that we just push down and we don't want to see it. So it's in the subconscious, it's there, but no one ever wants to see it. The light of consciousness is never shone on these hidden shadow aspects, which is why things like the pandemic and things like the sea, you know, all of these things that are happening are bringing out those hidden things that are going on that we didn't know were happening, that we forgot about, that would just push down in the shadow, and they're rising up to the surface for us to literally see, for the light, for that unconscious, hidden conscious to come into the conscious, for that light of awareness to shine onto the shadow so that we can actually see it, right? Super interesting, isn't it just fascinating? I find it so, it's exciting. It really is an amazing time to be alive. That's why we're here, is to, you know, bring about this great awakening and, you know, start remembering some shit. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense about the psyche fragmentation, everything existing in the subconscious, and then our kind of the idea of consciousness and conscious attention just being a focus and an anchor, and basically being able to kind of lift out of that, physically release that anchor, and then being able to access different areas of the subconscious, be that another person, you can access another person's subconscious, access the collective subconscious, you know, all that type of stuff. So the third idea then, this is an idea that hasn't been proven, but it's very, very important in parapsychology. Sheldrake came up with this idea of morphic fields of resonance, which basically means there are fields of consciousness everywhere, just fields of consciousness, and we are able to, if we can de-anchor, access and tap into those different areas of consciousness. If you are able to develop a relationship with de-anchoring, right, just releasing your ego, letting go, again, letting go and tapping into these other areas of information, so these kind of waves of consciousness that are just everywhere, that connect all of us, and each species has a different kind of field, right? So all of the animals have fields, and, you know, humans have fields. Again, different alien species have fields of consciousness which they're resonating with. And that really ties into, you know, all of the different frequencies frequential harmonics, different octaves of the universe, right? It all kind of, you know, fits in and ties in. So these morphic fields of resonance, so humans exist on one field, we are able to access that. So this really ties into the 100th monkey effect. So hopefully you guys will know about that. So look up the 100 monkey effect. It's about kind of, you know, monkeys washing sweet potatoes. It's a really cute story, but basically look it up. It's very important. And this is, you know, just this idea that we are anchored into this separation, and we are kind of very just focused, and we are very narrow-minded sometimes, and we just focus our attention on, you know, one thing, whatever it is individually. It might be, you know, just an element of, you know, just sadness or limiting beliefs or self-sabotage, and we're like so focused on that. And it's really just about, you know, opening up your awareness, releasing that anchor, and then being able to access different parts of your consciousness and, you know, your collective subconscious, which has been fragmented. Okay, kind of really hopefully important to get your head around. So okay, just recapping then, consciousness is key. Think about going into a trance state, going into a flow state, understanding the different brain waves, really kind of experiment with lucid dreaming and stuff like that. You know, it's really, really fun. Go into that with some intention, understanding that your psyche is also fragmented. So just when you're doing this work, this ego deconstruction work, and just bringing out and developing relationships with these other aspects of your psyche, that's really this work of integration. We have to do this on ourselves before we are able to have contact with other beings. It's so important because they are fully integrated, and they are coming from a fully integrated place, and we will not be able to handle any type of relationship. We will literally just crumble apart. So it's really important that we're doing this ego work. We're bringing those parts of our psyche together. Really important. Shining a light on those things that we were unconscious of. Really bringing those things out of the shadow into the light, shining a light of awareness on it. And then 3, knowing and having this more technical scientific understanding that there are these morphic fields of resonance, these fields of consciousness that connect all of us, that keep us connected, that we can tap into. And the more and more we do this, the more and more connected we're going to be. Again, just really shining a light on like collective psyche trauma, okay, and just really de-anchoring that ego, but knowing that it's okay, that the ego is anchoring you here in this reality, knowing that's just a part of your experience, and just waking up and releasing that ego is just a part of your journey, a really beautiful journey of self-discovery. Okay, thank you so much. Namaste. I love you, and I will see you again really soon.